So, It Follows. I have a bit to say here. Best thing about the film is the directorial assertiveness, the pronounced cinematographic aesthetic, a visual distinctiveness and character all its own. It seemed to come out of nowhere as a fairly modern feeling in its look and its character behaviour, suburban horror feature which distilled contemporary concerns, attitudes, and photographic priorities. What was It Follows trying to say? Clearly, there was a point which may have been inconsistent or half baked, which is a shame because, as a straight horror film, It Follows is pretty tremendous. What is the point of It Follows' screenplay? The possibility of sexual danger, the existence of venereal disease, which doesn't go away via killing a ghoulish monster, the stigma attached to female sexuality. What is the proposed thesis exactly? Firstly, what young people want to go and see Charade by Stanley Donen? I get that some young people like to pretend to feel cultured and whatnot and boast about it on social media, but still, something about that seemed annoyingly phony to me. Maybe I'm just a bit of a cantankerous cunt. If the message is that men are not to be necessarily taken at their word when they suspect or expect or desire a sexual encounter with a woman, intending to infect you with it, a nameless entity which is passed on to you and intends to follow and then kill you, I can quite admire that, although our protagonist is seemingly capable of passing it on too. It is never stated she isn't. I'm not considering the ambiguities of the final shot here. She doesn't have to lie in order to pass it on, though few would volunteer to sleep with her knowing what might happen to them afterward, obviously. What revelation are we supposed to attain? I'm deliberately ignoring an analysis tab on Wikipedia as well as any other writings on the film. I expect them to just annoy me with their aggressive pomposity and holier than thou banality, because I'm not interested in claims that the film was bold simply for acknowledging that a young woman might want to have sex with a man. I'm an adult. I don't care. It was bold in 1960 with Janet Leigh. You can even find mature demonstrations of female sexuality in 1977's Julia, directed by Fred Zinnemann. And that was an Oscar-nominated picture, not even an edgy, boundary-pushing horror picture. Elevated horror is mostly a sham. Once you started actively trying to compose hack horror films around messages, the horror films really suffered. But It Follows feels like a horror concept first, which wondered if it could sprinkle some social commentary in order to justify its existence in some ways, perhaps. Whatever the case, It Follows is a superlative exercise in film direction, oddly well performed, utterly thrilling and gripping, an intense, admirable horror project, and perhaps an irrelevant sociocultural thesis. Let me know if you have any disagreements. Until then, thank you and good night.